When I walked around to the front of the house and opened the heavy wooden doors, I found the interior as still as a crypt. The floors, stairwell, and steps of the corridor, all made of gray stone, were cloaked in late afternoon shadows. I opened the door that led to the living room, whose threadbare oriental rug didn't completely cover the floor. No one was there. Then I peered into the study on the other side of the corridor and saw the matriarch of 8 children sitting at her messy desk and staring straight ahead, lost in a cloud of smoke. Jamie and I discovered that this woman had just lost her husband 2 months before our arrival, which explained her reserve in welcoming us. It seemed her tradition of taking foreign exchange students stemmed from financial necessity rather than desire. Why else would anyone invite strangers into their home so soon in the grieving process? But this coldness, this reserve, was hard on me. I had hoped for maternal warmth to help me through my first sojourn away from home. My favorite season, in all its hues, coaxed me outside. I grabbed an apple and my camera and walked over to the shady path leading towards the bed of tall reeds. I took pictures of these straw-like plants, twice my height, then sat down on the bank, eating my apple and basking in the late autumn sun. For a moment, I forgot about the loneliness and strangeness that sometimes haunted me. The frigid bedroom my roommate and I shared, and the midnight trips down the icy stone corridor to the bathroom. I forgot how much I missed my small upstate college and sorority, and the large place I held in a small town. The family I stayed with was an old, aristocratic family with every sort of heritage one could wish for, except money. The eldest 3 children were out of the house, and one son was already married and living nearby. When he visited, rising with athletic grace and greeting me with a kiss on each cheek, I was too tongue-tied to talk to him. 2 daughters attended high school and university while still living at home. These girls were born with a poise I envied. They wore modest skirts, thin knit navy or red cardigans, scarves around their necks, and their hair swept loosely back in a headband or chignon. The younger one smirked when I asked if it was safe to drink the water. But how can I blame her when I wore my naivete so openly? The French keep their cards close to their chest. They showed me how they danced le rock, spinning each other effortlessly without music in their spacious salon. At night we sat around the tiny table in the kitchen, splitting a pizza 4 ways that would have served 1 person back home. We followed this with a green salad, bread, and a modest cheese platter and a piece of fruit. We rarely drank wine with our meals, and were educated on the proper amount of cheese to serve ourselves from the cheese platter. Not very much, that is. After dinner, Jamie and I wound our way upstairs to the bedroom we shared. It was a drafty room with antique flowered wallpaper and a hodgepodge of paintings and mismatched frames, crowding the walls up to the tall ceilings. When we opened the long windows to pull the wooden shutters closed for the night, the cold air accosted us and made our dim room seem even more desolate. How different that was to today, when I fling open the shutters in the brisk morning air as my husband and children leave for school and wave goodbye to them from our cozy home. When Jamie and I talked in the evenings, it wasn't as lonely, I suppose. Our fingers were nearly numb with cold, and we wore gloves indoors. Or one of us would warm her hands on the bare light bulb of the desk lamp with twinkling irony. The remoteness and chill of our surroundings made us band together. But outside these moments of complicity, I often felt isolated by a fear and worry the other exchange students didn't seem to feel. Why did I go to France in the first place if I was so fearful? And I am one of the most fearful people you can meet. Ever since I can remember, I have been terrified of everything outside my small life, haunted by the what-ifs, accosted by worry and the fear of dying or of grief. But I had these grains of courage that propelled me towards France, because the alternative was worse. The fear of not being good enough as I was. I was compelled to do something extraordinary to be worth something, to remake the old model that I knew to be deeply flawed. I did recreate myself in France, when I sat outdoors on a stone bench, eating a baguette with butter and cheese and sharing a bottle of wine with friends.